Hi guys, it's Donna. Whoa, my shoes. I kind of fell out of my shoes. Hi guys, it's Donna. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new here, hi, welcome. And for those of you who are not, hello, and thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I am doing my next installment in my Palette Roulette series. Sorry, I have lip gloss on and it wants to stick to my hair. Or I guess maybe my hair wants to stick to it. So the palette that was chosen for me last week was the Natasha Denona Lila Palette. I think it's called. Maybe Lila, I'm not sure. But it is a Natasha Denona palette that is focused mostly on all purple tones. And I have to tell you, I did not pay for this palette myself. My children got it for me, I believe for Mother's Day a year ago, maybe, I want to say, and it was a pride and joy moment for me, and I love this palette, I'm not gonna lie. So I wrote down some notes. I didn't want to miss anything in this, and I did do swatches, but I think, as you guys can see, I am the world's worst swatcher. So I think I am also going to take a picture of my swatches and put them in the video for you and then just talk over the top. This palette was built because of Natasha Denona's love for purples, and as you can see, it is, it does have some tones in it that aren't wholly purple, and I did create this look today with this palette, and I am wearing green, so it meshes well with the green that I am wearing. It is more of a neutral toned look, but for the most part there are a plethora of warm and cool tone purples in this palette. There are 4 different textures. We have a creamy matte texture, a duochrome texture, a metallic texture, and one shadow that is what's called a chroma crystal. Not even sure what that means, to be honest, but those are Natasha Denona's signature textures. I love the fact that this palette has multiple different textures to work with. I also can tell you that some of, or all of the shades in here work well in any function on your lid. So when I'm saying that, I have put metallics. I'm wearing Dragonfire. No, not called Dragonfire. I'm wearing Dragon Bite today in my crease as well as on part of my lid. So, and that is a duochrome and it is in my crease. It is a metallic shadow in nature, and I don't find a problem with using it. What I will say is Natasha Denona shadows, well, this palette was $129. And most of her palettes that are roughly this size are $129. She does have some, the Star palette is one I also own. It's a little bit larger. It is $169. And then she has some huge palettes that are out there. I call them huge. They're like 28 pans, I believe, and they are $239. Do I believe that this palette is worth $129? No. I don't believe that there's any palette worth $129, to be honest. But I wanted it so bad, and my children went halves, my adult children went halves and purchased it for me for Mother's Day, and I can't be more grateful to them for doing so. There are, like I said, 4 different textures. You have creamy mattes in here, so we have Per Se Amara. This one is called Nude Vino. This one is Nude Mauve. Yep, those are your creamy mattes. So you have 4 creamy mattes. They are beautiful creamy mattes. So this one is a little gray tone. This one's a little more red tone. This one's blue. This one's brown tone, and this one's a little more just nude in general. But what I will say about that is, as they appear in the pan, is actually a little bit lighter than what actually goes on your eyes. I feel like you feel like this is going to be a nice taupey color and you put it on your eyes and it's actually kind of a slate purple. So they're a little bit darker on your skin than they actually appear in the pan as far as the mattes go. The next ones are the metallic ones, and there's a far greater amount of metallics in this palette. So we have Viola, you have Layla, which is this one here, you have Amethyst and Magnetic, and then you have these ones down here. This is called Juno, and it is more of a sheer metallic color. This one is Pure. And this one here is called Helio. Those are your metallic shades. I'll show you again, like I will show you the swatches and list them all in order as they're swatched. But I just wanted to get the 4 different textures in there for you so you understand what part of this palette is those textures. So your duochromes are going to be this guy up here called Cyclone, this one right here called Livid, and this one right here called Dragon Bite. Yes, Dragon Bite. And then your chroma crystal color is going to be this one here, and it is called Magnolia. The palette comes in this, like, it's kind of styrofoamy, and I have seen these little nails like fall out for certain people, and I like, not a lot of people like, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I like that this flap that goes over the top of the shades is actually hooked to the palette and you're not going to lose it. What I do not like is that you're paying $129 for a palette and the shade names are not on the palette. That is ridiculous to me. The other thing I like is that it does have a nice size mirror in it. It does take up quite a bit of, you know, the top portion of this palette. I do love the palette. This is like a leather type exterior, but it is, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is foam. So her pans were made to actually come out of her palettes and you can rearrange them however you want to. I have never found any reason to rearrange this palette. I love the way it is set up. It's set up quite nicely. I believe that when I look at it, I am inspired to do multiple looks, and if I scoot on over here, I can start putting in some of those multiple looks over here for you. I was able to create with this palette pink looks, purple looks, orange looks, red looks. This look that I have on today, which I find to be a little more like neutral look, that dragon bite in there you would think is going to be like a red brown, like most of the duochrome colors are in palettes these days, but it is actually a red green, which is how I was able to create this look today. It has a little more green flair to it than most different red color. But look at that red on my thumb. That is just from moving them together, but it's still got that duochrome feel to it with a green shift versus a brown shift, which I appreciate. The chroma crystal, like I said, I'm not really sure what that is all about. To be honest, I don't know enough about Natasha Denona. She's not a brand that I typically buy from just because of the sheer expense of it to tell you what a chroma crystal is. But I don't find that chroma crystal to be any better, in my opinion, than the other metallics in the palette. So you have this one being the chroma crystal and this one being the metallic right above it. I don't find them to be all that different. So I'm not really sure what the feel of the chroma crystal is supposed to be, but I don't really find it to be any different than any other metallic shade in this palette. So with that being said, if you're purchasing Natasha Denona for the Chroma Crystal Spectacularness, it's not any different than her metallics, in my opinion. Somebody else out there in Makeup Land might disagree with me. On the eye, it performs the exact same. So I'm going to go over the swatches with you. I am going to, like I said, put a picture in here because I am a horrible swatcher. Maybe I can do it this way. I don't know. Let's see. If not, then I will put a picture in here instead of me explaining these colors to you. This first shade here is called Per Se. It is a smoky purple gray tone shade, and it is one of the mattes. This is a Viola. It is one of the metallics. It is a really pretty, like, darkish purple fuchsia color. This is Amara, again, one of the mattes. It is a red, brown, like, berry tone. The next shade is Cyclone. It is a bronze copper pink, and it is one of your duochromes. It really does have a beautiful pink shift to it that just goes well with any purple eye look that you create out of here. The next one here is Nude Vino. It is like a red grape color almost. It is one of the creamy mattes. This next one here is Layla. It is one of the metallics, and it is a kind of a dark gray purple mauve color. It lends to a lot of different looks. I do have it in the outer corner of my eye look today. It just can really darken up any kind of look for you without having like an incredibly purple cast to it. This next one here is Amethyst. And it is, just as you see it, a really pretty violet color. This next one is Magnetic. Both of these are two of the metallics in here. Magnetic is a brighter fuchsia. This one here is Magnolia. It is your Chroma Crystal, and it is a beautiful, like, just champagne color. This next one here is Nude, and it is kind of a mauve color. It lends more brown, though, than it does mauve, honestly. This next one here is Juno. It is a lavender, and this is what they call a sheer metallic. It is a beautiful color. I wore it in my brow bone almost all week, and it went with every single look that I created with this palette, regardless of like really any kind of specific color scheme. This one here is Livid. It is lilac silver blue-ish shade. It really does have quite a bit of a shift to it. It has been in my outer corner in many of my looks, and it is what is considered one of the duochromes in this palette. I do not find it to be as duochromy though as, say, Dragon Bite. This color here is Pure, and it is a beautiful burgundy metallic color. The next one is Dragonfire. It is the red-green duochrome. And the last one, it is called Helio, and it is just a really pretty pastel rose. And when I wasn't using Juno in my brow bone, I was using Helio. So, is Natasha Denona an amazing product? Yes, I do love these shadows. I did find that like I said, I could wear the metallics in my crease. I could wear any of these shades anywhere on my eyes. So they're so creamy, so buttery. They blend like on their own. You almost don't have to do much to them. I found that the higher I put some of these mattes into my brow area, the skippier they got. But if I went over it with a clean brush and just kind of blended it all together all over again, it worked out really well. This color here I used all over my lid. I've also used it as an eyeliner at some point, and used it in my outer V on my eyes. It's just a really pretty dark color that can help make a look. This is a beautiful purple color. I find that this palette is what really set the tone for all the purples in the world because these purples are pretty awesome. However, I do not feel like they're awesome. $129 worth of awesome. I don't feel like you should have to purchase $129 worth of shadows. I mean, realistically speaking, there are 15 shadows in here for $129. For the palette, you're paying about $8, almost $9 per pan of shadow. And that's not bad necessarily, but it's not enough to sell me on the fact that you need to pay $129 for this palette. It's a pretty cheaply made palette. Honestly, it's foam. It's foam. For the amazing palettes that are in here and the name on the outside of the palette, that is what you're paying for. Were the looks amazing? Yes. Do I love the palette? Yes. Do I think that you should run out and spend $129 on a Natasha Denona palette because they were just that good? No. I think that I have purples that really rival those purples and other metallics that really rival those metallics in my Sydney Grace singles that are like $6 a piece. Granted, that's almost the same price, and if I were to buy, 15 of her shadows, I would come up with a cost very similar. But typically when a brand puts together a palette, the cost of those pans of shadow greatly decreases, and then they produce for that palette. Also, like with ColourPop as well. So I know these are not ColourPop shadows, but this is me telling you I don't think they're a whole lot more magical than a ColourPop shadow. It is, however, a palette that will never leave my collection. But I have heard that Natasha Denona shadows actually expire a lot more quickly than some other shadows do. So I'll have to keep my eye on this palette for a while. I mean, it's already been in my collection for going on a year. So let me know what you guys know about Natasha Denona shadows and their expirations. So now we're going to go into the Decide Now app. For those of you who don't know about this series, I use what's called the Decide Now app to decide for me the next palette that I will be using in the series. This series on my channel was inspired by a girl named Danny. Her channel name is Danibo, and she used a very similar app on her iPhone to do pretty much the same thing. Her name or the name of that series on her channel was Palette a Week. She used it as a declutter series. I'm using it more as a get more familiar with my products, use my products more because I have way too much coming in and nothing going out at this point because I'm still rather new in this, but I forget about my palettes and forget to use them. So I just really want to use my product. So that's the biggest difference between her and I. She does have an iPhone. I have a Samsung Note 9. You can get a like Wheel of Fortune app on any of the, App Store programs for either Android or iOS systems. I know that they exist, and there are many of them that do. I got mine from the Play Store. She got hers obviously from the App Store. I can't remember what the Apple one is called. So all you do is put I have all of my palettes in here, and I have roughly 80 palettes. So all of my palettes are in here, and then sorry guys, my camera died. I put my hair up because it was driving me nuts. It's trying to go into this lip gloss way too much. Okay, so this is where I believe we were. You put all of your information that you want the wheel to decide on into the app, and then you press the button and it spins. It chose Lunar Beauty, Life's a Drag. We've already worked with that palette, so I am going to spin it again. So it chose the ABH Norvina palette as my palette for next week. I am kind of okay with that because even though that is supposed to be a purple palette, it is very neutral at the same time. So let me go get that palette real quick. Alright guys, next week this is the palette that we'll be working with. This is the ABH Norvina palette, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It's got some nice oranges, some reds, some browns, a couple purples, just a couple, and some pinks. I really do like this palette. I do have a get ready with me using this palette at First Impressions or Makeup Playtime, I think it was. And I don't mind it. There are a couple shades in here I haven't used, so I am super excited to put those in my have used under my belt for having used it. And I will see you next week with this palette. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you're enjoying this series. Let me know down in the comments section what you like about it, what you don't like about it. If you as well are doing a palette roulette, and what palette you're using this week, what palette you used last week, and how you liked it. Please consider giving me a big thumbs up if you did like this video or like my channel or like me enough that you think you want to subscribe. That would also be spectacular. I would love to have you a part of my YouTube family here. And until next time, guys, bye. I don't know if I can do this, y'all. So now that we've struggled through the swatches, sorry guys, I am a horrible swatcher. Definitely not my day job, can you tell?